Bard's Tale, Sword and Sorcery for the Commodore 64. For me, the original RPG, first I ever played. Plot of the game: an evil wizard dominates the town. Defeat this darkness. Gave up on timing the battle. Point is, takes forever, and use Mind Blade Sorcerer 5. Also, my Firehorn was destroyed after one use. So, save that for the final battle in the Dark Lord's Tower. So having the method and the patience to carry out the long, drawn-out execution of those folk that we were just encountering, I believe the experience gain is 60,000. Insane. Needless to say, ideal grinding spot for gaining experience levels. Teleport back, exit the dungeon, back in, teleport here, repeat, repeat. For now, I'll see if I can complete the game without having to resort to that. I've reloaded and teleported beyond that Berserker battle, and we press on. So according to my map, so there's the door that we just entered to face the Berserkers. Leaving that behind, turning south from here. According to my map, there should be a invisible wall there for me to pass through. Yes. Once you go through that, I want to head to the southeast. So I want to turn left and down. And I believe there should be another invisible wall here. And I think there's an anti-magic square beyond this, if we can get through it. So if we get encountered there, we do not use magic. Okay. So we went through, and we heard a boop sound, so I guess that might have been a warning that we're standing on anti-magic. So proceeding east from here, there's a long rectangular room that we're in now. And there's a batch of spin floors ahead of us on the way to the spot we want to get to. If you remember from the intro, I mentioned that Morgana, with her dark ring, item number 1, that might prevent spinner floors from turning us around. So we're about to test out that theory. If we can get all the way to the wall here without incident, then it would seem the ring helps us. And if it doesn't, we'll try Morgana's broom, which, if you remember, I believe I mentioned it gives us the levitation ability. So if we can levitate above the floors. But anyway, let's see if we can actually get to the far wall first. Advancing forward. Ah, we did. So we arrived without incident, so I guess the ring probably does help us. Now, item C on my map is supposed to be something here. Maybe not. Huh. That's weird. I don't know what happened. Unless the floors really did spin us around. Maybe we're on the wrong wall. Here's what I'll do. This might clarify it. I'll have Merlin cast, I believe it's called Scry Sight. Oh, we're on the anti-magic square. I think that's the proof we need. I think, yeah, we were turned back by the spinner floors. So I think our rings actually don't help us. So here's what we do. So we'll get off the anti-magic square. And we're going to have Morgana use the broom, number 2. So you may have noticed in the middle of the screen there, a green magic carpet basically showed up to indicate that we are levitated from the floor. So now let's see if we can actually get to the destination. See if this levitation gets us off the hook. No, it didn't. Okay, so we're learning. So it looks like we're subject to the spinner floors, whether we have the dark ring, whether we use levitation. So what we need to do is, just so I don't get confused. Okay, so we'll advance 1 spot away from the anti-magic square. So as far as I know, should be able to cast teleport here. So we'll try to teleport to the very spot I want to get to. See if that works. Not sure what else to try here. So we're teleporting again. So our north-south we're fine, so we don't want anything for that. East, we just want to travel, I believe, 6 squares from here. We're on 15, we want 21. So 6 east. 6 east. And we're not traveling by level, so I think this is what I got to do. Yeah, okay. So after all that, we're learning together here, people, if you've never played, on what does not work. The dark ring nor levitation gets you away from spinner. I guess they're not necessarily spinner floors. Maybe it's just the square itself. Maybe it's got nothing to do with the floor. Anyway, if you land on a square that spins you, apparently there's no way to avoid that. You just have to figure out where you are or teleport past it. Okay. The point is we've reached the next checkpoint. Interesting. An old statue of a 15-foot tall warrior stands before you. Okay. I happen to know that we need to face this thing, so we'll approach it. An eye levitates from Merlin and goes into the statue's empty socket. If you remember, we picked up the eye. Was it from the temple dungeon when we faced that specter guy, the witch king? So we needed that eye for this moment here. An eye levitates from Merlin, goes into the statue's empty socket. You face one mad god. So, would seem we are about to fight Tarjan himself, which had been suggested back in that temple dungeon. Said, seek the mad one's stony self in Harkon's domain. So here we are. Fight! So I don't even know what the mad god's capabilities are. Just checking to make sure I got my fire horn. I'm not using it, but not knowing what he's capable of, why don't we just, King Arthur will just observe. Okay, let me see. Make sure I'm doing this right, because I was just in the habit of defending against those berserkers. We're back on the attack now. I didn't want to make sure I didn't just put a bunch of defenses in there. He'll wait. Let's see if we can turn the Mad God back to stone. It's one of my new spells. Merlin, the magician, now has Stone Touch, which can turn someone to stone. Let's try. Because we know he's not immune to being turned to stone, right? That's for sure. So it's probably STTO. Stone Touch. On the Mad God himself. What does Morgana have for new spells that might be cool here? And what she could have done actually was cast a new summon creature. She's got Instant Ogre. Another thing she might try is, now that we're sorcerers, we have a spell called Mind Jab, which is similar to Morgana's old Arc Fire. Quickly check that out. Psychic energy at one opponent, 2 to 8 damage for each experience level of the mage. Mage is very general. I don't know if that means all spell classes. So she'll try that. We'll test it out now. Although, yeah, we'll test it out to see if it does just a little bit of damage or whether it counts the conjurer levels. Let's find out. Let's find out together. So the Mad God just outright poisoned Galahad. And Lancelot takes revenge for what he did to his son by cutting him down rather routinely. 64 points. You notice Lancelot hit 4 times. So now that we're gaining more levels, we're really getting rather powerful. You are being teleported. So once you've defeated the Mad God, you are in fact teleported. Yeah, so we've gained a high enough level. A lot of things just happened, but we've gained a high enough level that our fighter types were Warrior and Paladin, the 2 classes that gain extra attacks. We've now moved from 3 attacks to 4 attacks. So that was enough. Just one of us was enough to slay the Mad God. Very cool. Okay. Character disc. So, where are we now? Apparently we've been teleported back to town. Well, turns out we've been teleported within the gates to Kyliran's tower. If you remember, we came here by foot before from inside the town. Remember, we saw that cool looking gate and we were basically, the way was blocked. You shall not pass, apparently. And so I mentioned back then that there was a workaround to access that domain. So we are now inside that gate thanks to the teleport. So let's refer back to my town map. It looks like we're probably in the southwest. So what's awaiting us, actually? Current map, there's a 19. Okay, so this says teleport location. Okay. So I believe it's just a matter of entering this central spot here. Oh, wait. I should take into consideration that Galahad is in fact poisoned. And we've used his Pure Blade before for this purpose. restored. Now, I might want to cast some healing magic on Percival, but I don't know how much teleporting Morgana's going to need. Okay. Sauntering here to what is called the Amber Tower. This is the entry chamber to Kael'Irion's Amber Tower. The stairwell leads up to a lofty level of chambers. You can take the stairs, which we'll do. So that was kind of fun. It's quite an adventure just to get inside Kael'Irion's tower. And I'm not sure how many spell points I'm going to need. It might actually be quite a lot, because we've got more teleporting to do once we get inside. And apparently teleportation costs 15 spell points to do. So if you notice in the bottom right there, Morgana, when we first stepped into this building, we had like 36 or 37 spell points. So we're in a safe zone right now. So the spell points are gradually increasing. So I just doubled the emulator speed. So what I'll probably do is just hang here for a few minutes until I get at least 45 points. So that when I need more teleporting, I can do at least 3 iterations of it. So while I wait, I'm just going to see, okay, spin floors. Let's review my notes here. Okay, so we had the eye, teleported inside the gates. Okay. Up to 47 points. I'm tempted just to hang here until we get all our points back, but if all goes well in Kael'Irion's tower, it should be pretty straightforward to get to the places I want to go. How many teleports do I have planned? I might want to plan for fizzled teleports too, because I'm not sure. Because it'll warn you in, I think in the spell descriptions, that teleport works fine as long as there's not a teleportation shield in place. So it's not limitless teleporting within the game. There'll be, probably when we get to the Dark Lord's tower, certainly, he won't just let us bop around as we see fit. So according to my notes, it looks like I'm planning to teleport twice. So with at least 45 spell points, we have room to fail. We're almost at 60. I think her total is 69. Her spell point maximum right now is 69, dude. So we'll get to 60 anyway. Just so we have 4 uses. That gives us some leeway. Because it has literally been like decades since I've been here. It's been a couple decades since I played this game, actually. So I don't know if this is going to be smooth sailing to just simply... Because I believe Kael'Irion is also another wizard type, so would surprise me not at all if he's got wards against people just willy-nilly teleporting around his domain. Okay. I've stalled for long enough. I'm a little nervous. But at some point, the forbidden fruit must be tasted. We'll officially take the stairs. So we had to put the character disc in for when we were back in town. And now dungeon disc again. Okay. Do you wish to take the stairs? No, I do not. So Percival will fire up a torch. So now we are officially in Dungeon 4. Kyliran's Tower. It's just the one level. We begin in the southwest. So, where do we wish to go? I believe... Alright. Facing east. Just want to make sure I got my bearings correct because I just moved around foolishly. So there's 4 ways out of here. I believe if I take the east door, I should be good. Take the east door, and then if we advance a couple squares, should be able to move through this. Oh, it's not an invisible wall. Okay. So I might be teleporting sooner than I think. Because I thought I was going to hit a wall there. I was going to go through a wall and I was going to get to another chamber, and I did not. Now I'm trapped in a battle, unfortunately. So stay tuned to find out what happens to us. So Morgana needs to save her magic for teleporting. Shadows. Pretty cool picture. So we'll attack shadows for fear of what they do to us. King Arthur will uncork a bard song. Anti-magic because we're facing sorcerers. Star Flare against these sorcerers. So we're still on double speed, so the combat will go by a little faster here. In the meantime, appreciate the cool art, the cool Commodore 64 art. So I might just... Merlin is frying up some sorcerers. We've come this far, we might as well finish the battle. I know I've been running a lot from battles lately. It's only because I didn't know if I would make it out where I had to be, make it out alive from where I was, but I feel like we're not going to encounter too many battles here. If, like I say, if as I suspect, we're just teleporting around. Okay. Kind of XP. 4,000. Wow. Adamantium plate. That's a step up in armor. Definitely have to dress that up with someone. Okay, so we can't pass through these walls. So I believe I can teleport from here straight to the next objective, but I don't know don't know why I should be so sure of that, because apparently all bets are off from what I thought might happen. The first place we need to get to in this domain is to the northwest, where there's an important item, another one of those important items. We've gotten a silver object before, and there's another one here. It's Silver Triangle, which is also needed for the final dungeon. It's must-have. So I believe I'm 1 space to the north. I want to get to 20. So if I teleport 19 north, providing there's no teleportation shield, I should be good. So let's try. How much did I say? 19 north. 19 north. Let's give it a shot. Nope. Didn't work, so apparently there's a teleportation shield to just go there. We can't just go there. So what's the next thing we try? Another spell, a new spell that we've picked up. We've tried teleporting. Merlin the Magician also has something called Phase Door, where you can basically cause a wall to be treated as a door, a solid wall. I'll look up exactly what the spell says in the description. Phase Door, alter the structure of almost any wall directly in front of the party, turning it to air for exactly one move. 9 points. Let's give it a try. Phase Door. And didn't work. Okay, not sure how to proceed here. Having learned in Amber Tower, one does not simply teleport around or otherwise magically circumvent the obstacles Kyliran has placed here. We'll play his game, since there is no choice if we want to continue. So how do we continue? Start by entering the dungeon. I'll have Morgana use her lamp. Interestingly, she's got some other cool items there. So I've taken the fire horn off of King Arthur because we won't need it until we're fighting the Dark Lord himself. So we're not even in the Dark Lord's tower, so no need for that. He's not using Finn's flute either because he doesn't need the armor class. He's not melee. He's currently using a different flute which allows him to summon Wolf. So we can save ourselves some spell points from our mages. Get a summon creature off of him. Speaking of bards, Morgana also has, she's carrying Bard Sword. Bard Sword. So what that allows is if King Arthur used that as his weapon, he would have unlimited bard songs. Which sounds cool and everything, but I don't know. I only ran out that one time and it didn't matter. I don't find I ever run out. And now that we're level 13, I believe that means he has 13 bard songs. That seems like a lot. We shouldn't run out. So the Bard Sword's there just for the novelty. Okay, so shed some light on the subject. So we're back in the starting point in Amber Tower in the southwest. So we start in a four-way intersection. We tried going east before, only to find that we couldn't just fast track to where we want to be. We're going to have to make our way on foot, with the exception of teleporters we can find. So we start by taking the west door, which will take me out the map and in the other side to the southeast, where I should find a handy-dandy teleportation square. I want to go to the one on the right. Oh. I stupidly have my speed set to double, so I'm more likely to get encountered, which is not what I want. Okay, so we just advance here, screen changed, teleport. So I should be in the top, in the northeast of the map now. And on the other side of this door should be darkness. Okay. So now we got a fumble. That's a big waste of a lamp there. We hardly burned any oil at all. So we're facing west. We just have to stumble our way through this darkness to find another teleporter. So we start by heading to the west. Turn south. Turn east. Turn south. And the darkness designation went away. So we need a new light source. Not for long though. We're gonna be losing light pretty frequently here. Fun fact: so Lancelot right now might normally have a lamp as well, but his inventory's filled. He's carrying King Arthur's original axe, and he's also got a musical instrument, Lax Lyre, which also does the same thing the Bard sword does. Lax Lyre gives you unlimited Bard songs. So he's holding on to it just for laughs, just because Laklan. It's like Lan's Lyre, although we can't use it. I don't know if I ever mentioned, but that gray symbol there looks like kind of an 8. It means you can't use it. You can hold it, but you can't use it. Anyway. Galahad has lamps. But knowing that we're going to be wasting light all over the place, I think what we'll have is Percival will use his torches, because torches are even cheaper to buy. Not that money's an issue right now, but Percival will fire up one of his torches. I don't know if I ever explained that. Probably not. Whereas Lancelot and Galahad are more sophisticated knights. They have lamps. It's a little better technology. This is Percival from the Excalibur movie, began as a huntsman, wilderness guy. Makes more sense that he would break off a tree branch at some point and there's your torch. Doesn't matter. Just fun little justification inside my mind. So we're standing on an anti-magic square right now. Fun fact, I believe. Doesn't actually matter unless we got encountered here. So we just turn right and we should teleport again. So if you didn't create a light source and you were just fumbling around, you wouldn't even know that upon stepping here you teleported, because you'd be in the dark. So teleported again. Oh, while I was still talking about fun stuff, fun facts, Lancelot, notice his armor class is L0, which I've figured out is the maximum for this game. In Bard's Tale 2, I think you can get better. But Lancelot's L0 now because, if you remember, we found that adamantium plate armor during, I believe it was that shadow battle. In fact, Lancelot as a warrior, here's a benefit of being a warrior. A warrior is the only class that can actually wear adamantium plate, which I believe is the best, one of the best armors in the game. It's not the very best. You can actually apparently get diamond plate, but that's also warrior only. So that's the advantage of being a warrior. The warrior can wear the absolute best armors. In case you're wondering what the point of a warrior is, why not just be a paladin? Well, the warrior's got a couple benefits. Anyway, too much fun facts, not enough progress. So upon stepping there, I believe we have teleported into the central chamber of this dungeon level. And it looks like we're in darkness again, but we're not. You see we have our torch there burning. It's just that there's nothing in our immediate area, so there's no walls or anything, but I do believe, so I think when you teleport, you automatically face north, I think. Pretty sure. But I guess we can test it out for fun. So Merlin will cast Scry Sight. It tells you, oh, you're face south actually. Okay, so I shouldn't assume that. Never assume. Facing south. 12 north, 11 east of the entry stairs. Because that jives on my map. It's important to know which way you're facing here. In fact, I believe this is a spinner floor actually. This is a spinner spot. So this is our teleport destination, and it immediately spun us. So maybe that's why we're not facing north. Maybe? Anyway, we'll move the heck off of there. So just to make sure we weren't spun again. Kind of wasting magic here, but... See, now I'm facing east. That thing might have spun us again. Okay, these spinner squares are no joke. They can confuse you a little bit. So now I'm facing east, which is the direction I want to face. What I want to do is... I'll just check my walkthrough here. Why take any chances? I want to head to spot C on my map. So we want to advance. Okay. So now that we see this door, we don't want it. We actually want to turn right. We actually want this door here. And then we want to turn right, take a door. Turn right, take a door. Bam. Magic mouth on the wall speaks to you, saying this. Name the one of cold, foretold twofold. So different hints along the way, different clues you find along the way probably give you this answer. If you've scoured every spot the game has to offer. I happen to know that the answer to this is Stone Golem. Lord knows we have faced enough golems in this game. You find there'll be a few. So, upon answering this riddle, we should be teleported. Okay, it didn't really tell us we were. But our surroundings have changed, I believe. So we've moved to a different section of the map now, which I believe is 9 east, 8 north. So what we want to do, we're in the northeast corner of this room. We want to proceed toward the southwest. Take this door. Darkness again, see what I mean? Losing light frequently on this level. And it ain't the last time, so hold on to your ass if you're already bewildered. There's more. So these maps are pretty much crucial. Like, I mean, since, you know, I'll just say bless you if you enjoy mapping these things yourself and learning where everything is. Whoever made these maps, either it was the game designer that provided them, the ones that I'm using, or someone mapped this out by hand and trial and error. I can't imagine how much work that would be. You'd have to love it. You'd have to love it. The amount of work would be astounding. Okay. So, this is a rather large dark chamber. It's like 6 squares by like 12 squares. It's massive. So, I'm fumbling blind, but I know how many squares I'm working with, so I should be okay. First thing we do is turn to the east. Fumble all the way over into a wall. And I want to turn south 4 squares total. Turn to the south. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, now I don't know if I went 4 or not because I got encountered. Seekers, eh? They remind me of those that floating eye thing we fought that gave us a lot of trouble. Okay. So I don't know if I traveled 4 entire squares or not, but I can test it, I think. If I turn to the right, yes, okay. So I entered a tiny room within this vast chamber of darkness. So that was experience realizing what tends to happen when you get encountered unexpectedly. What did you move? Did you not move? You pick up those things after a while. It was an educated guess that I knew where I was. Anyway, more of this mouth messaging service. Name the endless byway and your path shall be guaranteed. So, this is, speaking of educated guesses, you might have figured out the answer to this just by referring to your town map. Apparently, there is a street in town that has no end. Like it's, you can advance and it's like it just goes on forever somehow. However that works. And the name of the street is Sinister. How sinister? How sinister is it? Right, it says. So I was correct. It's always nice to be correct. So it doesn't tell you what has happened. But I'll tell you what has happened. Spoiler alert. It opens a door on another part of the map, which is crucial, because this is the only way to open that door, which means the completion of this level hinges on that. Okay. So back to fumbling about through the darkness. But thankfully, it's not going to be too much navigating. Should be able to figure this out. So what we first need to do is retrace our steps. I heard a slight boop sound, which means I passed through a door, and now we're back in darkness. So I want to turn south. Follow it all the way over, hit a wall, turn west, follow that all the way over, hit a wall. Oh. 4 lurkers, 2 sorcerers, 8 wizards. A very magic-heavy encounter. Well, I've been lucky when it comes to avoiding fights. So we're in very good shape to stand the test of time here, which is good because there's still a lot of walking around. God, I went into this level so optimistic I could just teleport around. Boy, was I extremely wrong. And there's a lot of walking. Fortunately, it's not extremely difficult. It's just a matter of just, can you stand the irritation of just fumbling around foolishly? Okay. I might get back to where I'm at here. Okay, so I just emerged from darkness. So just for ease of navigating, let's fire up another light source, even though, again, it ain't gonna last. This is a good, yeah, torches are cheap, and it's just as well, because we're not even gonna get our money's worth out of this torch. We're gonna hit darkness before this even runs out on its own. So we're basically just gonna follow a couple long passages until we finally reach a door. It's just a matter of whether we get trouble along the way. Door. So we're going to pass through this door, and there's another door on the right. And then we are, once again, you guessed it, in darkness. Oh. It's not even the worst of what's going on. Green dragons. Ho, ho, ho. Green dragons. Oh, God, lucky. That could have been death. One thing you'll find in this game is that your mages are never safe. Your spellcasters, you fight a pack of dragons, and they're probably going to get roasted dead. And you'll need a bit of luck. So, ahead and to the right should be a secret passage slash fake wall. And once again, darkness. You know it, love it. If you haven't grown to love it, this must be frustrating for you. Okay, so what might get confusing here is a lot of twists and turns. If you remember all the way back, like when we first entered the Harken Castle, I said something about conserving Merlin's spell points. This is the point where I was thinking I would need to, because there's so much darkness here to fumble through that if I get encountered 2 or 3 times, I might simply lose my way. And if I hadn't been conserving spell points up to this point, I might not be able to find my way, because your only hope might be to cast, like I said, that scry sight to give you your coordinates and your direction, or else you could fumble forever and never find your way free. What a fate. Okay. So I want to snake through. It's be a bit painstaking, but there's no way around it. What's the easiest route here? I think if I go fewer turns if I turn left. All right, let's try it. Okay, we're now facing south. And I want to go 1, 2, 3 squares and turn right. 1, 2, 3, turn right. All right. Go right as far as I can. Turn right. Should be facing north. And then I want to go east, north, west. Should be facing north again. Now, if I'm correct about my location, I should be right in line to pick up the important item that was aforementioned. Bang into what hopefully is a door. Percival has found a silver triangle. Fantastic. You might recall we found a silver item, I believe, in the previous dungeon. Was it in the other previous dungeon? So silver triangle. We now have 2 out of the 3 silver objects we need for the final dungeon. Must have these things in the Dark Lord's Tower, or it's all for naught. Okay, so that's the main thing we need. So the plus side is, all we have to do now is somehow make it out of here alive, and as long as we've salvaged the silver triangle, we can progress in the game. But for the sake of experiencing everything and obtaining everything that would make our lives perhaps easier, there is still an object to obtain. And you might want to see a resolution as to why the crystal sword is important, eh? So let's do this. Feeling good, feeling fresh as a daisy. All our hit points are intact. Used to these dungeons where I'm like, just trying to not die. Okay. So there's really nothing. I don't know if we can teleport out of here. Probably not. Let's just save our points in case we need every point we need. It's just a matter of fumbling our way back. I think we've been shown that teleport doesn't work here, so why kid ourselves? Okay. Exited the door to return to darkness. We start by proceeding. Oh, look at that. Well, we cast an instant wolf as a party member by Morgana. Why not replace him with a wraith? Look at that awesome picture. We've seen it already. What was it before? A shadow we fought? So we'll let this wraith join. Why not? It is darkness after all. Maybe this environment will suit him. Okay. Now we want to... What's the best way to go here? We need to head west and then south in any case. Or is that east? Cool picture. Lurker. Leave in peace. We've already got a cool undead guy in our group. Okay, so we went east then south. So we wrap around. So we're going to turn left. We were facing north again, hopefully. We want to advance 1, 2, 3 squares to the north. 1, 2, 3. Should be able to turn right. And right again. Should be facing south now. Go all the way down. Gotta love that bumping into the walls. It lets you know you're where you're supposed to be. Okay, so we just gotta make our way north and west, and we should be able to get there. East, north. No, we're west. West, north. Now if we turn to the left, it should be 2 squares, and then turn to the left again. Okay, if I've navigated through this darkness correctly, we should be able to run south, and we should be able to hit our destination for the time being anyway. Okay. So I believe there should be a door in front of me. And why don't I flash a light creation just to confirm? Galahad will use one of his lamps. Okay, so you probably saw it. We had a brief flash of light before the magical darkness snuffed us again, but we saw a door. So that should be the blue door. There's a blue door on my map, which has the note, requires special action. So we handled this earlier on with that riddle. This door would be impassable had we not gone to that sinister spot. In other words, you shall not pass if you didn't take this precaution, as one does not simply walk through doors in Amber Tower. And we'd have been screwed. Okay, so in preparation for where we're going to be going next, I think I want to put King Arthur in the front row. Do we do it now or do we wait? Let's wait till we're at the door that we need, okay? We'll leave him for now. We might get encountered. We've been kind of lucky about avoiding encounters. So we should be able to pass through this door. We do, but there's enemies on the other side. Thankfully, they're tame. A lot of magic users. So we'll go about cutting them down. Let me see. What am I most worried about? The magicians are the ones that are really dangerous. But for the sake of getting this combat done as quickly as possible, our melee people will go after the conjurers. King Arthur will create the anti-magic bard song. Who do we need to save the spell points more for? Merlin could use his... Who would I rather use? I think the person that needs their points for restoration is Merlin. Merlin, yeah, I might as well tell you. Merlin has now a 7th level magician spell called Restoration. Get this. Makes all party wounds disappear. All party wounds. Also cures poisoning and insanity. Insanity's never came up this game so far, but poisoning has. For 12 points, you can complete heal everybody. That's one of the most shockingly powerful new spells we've obtained. So I feel like we should err on the side of Merlin conserving his magic, because full restore is awesome. I don't think Morgana has anything that is quite that awesome. Just going to take a quick glance here. What did the Conjurer get? I mean, the teleports proved useful as well. Okay, so she's going to shock Sphere. So Merlin can conserve his magic because that restoration is just awesome. Shock Sphere on these magicians. And then we'll hope these magicians don't completely annihilate us before we get a chance to take our actions. The Wraith does 49 points. Okay, good choice to get that Wraith on board. So the magicians might rip us for a lot of damage. Notice Merlin can't take 20 points very frequently. This is a good time to mention. If you ever noticed, Merlin's got considerably fewer hit points than Morgana does. And she's got a great constitution, he doesn't. And it's reflected in the hit points. She's gotten much more bonuses. I actually think it makes a lot of sense because Merlin is often portrayed as an older gentleman. And so you figured his physical health is probably not the best. So it makes sense that his hit points should be lower, I think. And then it also makes sense that Merlin should also have considerably more spell points. He's got like 10 more spell points than Morgana has, which also makes sense because Merlin's much more of a... At least Excalibur portrays him as a wise old veteran before Morgana even really gets into magic, so Merlin should have more. Anyway, meanwhile, not enough magicians are dying. So much for Shock Spear. That didn't do a lot. Didn't do a lot of damage. I figured we wiped them out completely. So, knowing how much damage we could take, I'm just gonna run away. It's not worth it. Okay. For the time being, Morgana will cast Flesh Restore on Merlin. And then Word of Healing. Okay, he's up to a good amount. And Flesh Restore on herself. And Word of Healing. So she's using her minor magics. All right. Oh, wrong. Hold on. Okay, good enough. We're ready. Okay. So I believe we're done with darkness, right? Hope so. It should be the last time we have to fire up a light source. Galahad will use his limp. Okay. So we want to take a little surprised at that door being right there, am I? I am kind of. Wait a minute. Let's advance here. According to my map, I should be going through this wall, am I not? Just to be thorough, I'm going to get my location here. 4 north, 2 east. 4 north, 2 east. Right, this is the first door we go through. Right, okay. First time I've been here. Yeah, we do want this door. I think. Do we? Yes. And then we want that door as well. It's the traveling east door. Leave in peace. We don't need you, Were Tiger. Although our Wraith is damaged, right? He's down to 3. Oh, but I like the Wraith. I like him. Oh, jeez. Another army of spellcasters. Well, yeah, we gotta go after these sorcerers. They do so much damage. I don't know. What should I do? Now I'm afraid of spellcasters now because they have the potential ability to destroy my spellcasters. Well, the monks might be hard to bring down. No. I suspect the monks might not even be able to hit us because our armor class is so good. King Arthur will play another anti-magic bard song. And since Morgana's hit all magic didn't prove very particularly useful before, I believe we have found Starflare to work well against sorcerers. Guess we should be grateful that we're not facing dragons because they are insane. Oh, Ivory Monk punches Galahad for 36. Okay, shouldn't have taken them for granted. I guess there's always a chance to hit. See how many sorcerers Merlin can cook up with his frying magic. 7 points. Wow, that's low. See, this is what I get for not just using Dragon's Breath. This round's going to take a while. We still have a bunch of Ivory Monks that are going to kick at us. Going to Bruce Lee our ass. King Arthur hopefully will negate. Yes, the anti-magic bard song might have screwed that sorcerer. Spell had no effect. Well, I guess we were right to attack the sorcerers in melee as well because some of them survived that. Alright, so I guess we shouldn't kid around too much. Merlin will uncork the dragon's breath at these Ivory Monks. And trust that they all die. Because if they don't... Although I think they've shown that they're missing a lot, so this isn't a panic situation. Just that any hit is big at this stage in the game. Anyone who ever hits you, it's going to be like... The damage is going to cause you to rear back a little bit and go, oh my goodness. Remind me in the comments to put King Arthur in the front row for what we're about to do. Lancelot wipes out a monk for 70 points. $72. His son, Galahad, Lancelot's son, not to be outdone, does 72. One repelled the spell. You're not supposed to repel my magic. It's supposed to go down like a sack of beep. Did YouTube just censor me? I heard a beep. Wow. Not only were they avoiding the dragon's breath, but they're taking less damage. This is upsetting. I've had enough. I'm out here. Okay, so if I'm judging my map correctly, we should have something on the other side of this door. So I want to either go King Arthur in the front row 4. All right, so new order. We'll put him front and center. King Arthur, Lancelot, Galahad, Percival can be in the back. There we go. Okay, before we do this, let's be thorough. We want to cast an ogre. Morgana's instant ogre. 8 hit points. That's terrible. I cast a wolf recently who had 13. Come on. Of course, this ogre might hit pretty hard. Okay, so King Arthur's in the front row with the crystal sword, right? Remember that? Golem! A crystal statue comes to life before you, ready to attack. So either we exit the room, which does us no good because we got to come back. Fight. Crystal Golem. So according to the walkthrough, you need the crystal sword. Crystal sword / Excalibur. Fight. King Arthur, Lancelot, and Galahad will go at him. Crystal Golem. What magic does Merlin have that might be useful here? I don't even know. He's got things like Spectre Touch, turn things to stone. Crystal's kind of a type of stone. Merlin will save his magic. Morgana doesn't have a lot of magic. Maybe with King Arthur using the Crystal Sword, I don't know, maybe it might even one-hit kill it. I don't know what's going to happen. Let's just see what happens. Well, the Crystal Golem rightfully goes after King Arthur, maybe seeing that he's got the sword in hand. King Arthur doesn't even hit with it. Well, that doesn't help. Okay, a lot of missing. So I guess it would help if we actually hit with the Crystal Sword. So do we have any magic that helps with that? I think we probably do, just we've overlooked it over the course of time. So we'll start with Merlin. I believe he has something pretty cool, actually. This might be a fun time to use this, if I can find it. Someone's got some sort of... No. I think it might actually be Morgana that has something good. So I know there's been spells over time that improve our chance to hit. Here's something. Morgana has Wrath of Valhalla. So we're getting into different mythology now. Member of your party fights with greater strength and accuracy. WROV. She's going to use it for fun. Nothing else. Merlin's save is magic because he's got healing. And Morgana will use... What did I say it was? WROV. WROV, Wrath of Valhalla. Did I say what it did? Member of your party fights with greater strength and accuracy. Accuracy, underline, underline, underline. So put that on King Arthur, number 1. Yeah, we don't want to take too many rounds to chop this thing down. There's some serious damage. So Morgana hopefully has just enhanced King Arthur. And he still can't hit. So the reason this is interesting, all this, is we're still not done in this dungeon, and the Crystal Golem basically blocks your ability to get home. So it's kind of no joke. And a very tough monster so far, jeez. Well, we must have other things that improve our chance to hit. Just scroll back a little bit and see what else is out there. In terms of battle skill, increase one of your party member's skill with weapons. It's another Morgana spell. Basque, battle skill. Let's try it. Does Merlin want to cast Restoration on the party? It's a bit premature, but if anyone takes 2 shots... Okay, just wait, see what happens. We'll wait till someone gets down into a danger range and then we'll use it. Battle skill on King Arthur. 76 points, so now we definitely have to use Merlin's Restoration. Can't seem to hit this thing. Hits for 40 points of damage. We finally do damage. Mercifully. We gotta try to kill this thing, right? Merlin. We'll cast the Restoration. We can't afford to take too many more hits here. Rest. Restoration. Wizard. Makes all party wounds disappear. Restoration. Period. And Morgana's magic just proved useful. Made Arthur more likely to hit. As an emergency, she's going to cast Flesh Restore on King Arthur. Just in case she acts before the golem. She doesn't. Because 68 would have killed King Arthur, right? Okay, restoration. We got all our hit points back. Breathe a sigh of relief. Wasted some magic for Morgana, but she's running out of need for it. Yes, King Arthur inflicts both the hits, fittingly, using the crystal sword. Didn't start hitting until his sister Morgana started helping her. Galahad fittingly finds the pure shield to go along with his... Oh, no. Okay, a little bit aftershock. I'm going to take a moment to just take a breath here. A little bit aftershock there from that very, very tense battle. A couple of dwarf kings run in there and say, "Us too, we're gonna kill you guys." Screw you, buddy. Okay. Let's take a breath. I didn't know that combat was going to be quite that hard. Pretty hard. I'm a little nervous. But Merlin's got plenty of... Okay, so what we can't do is teleport. Morgana can't teleport us. But it looks like we can't teleport in here anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay. Just going to collect myself a moment. Maybe take a bit of a swig of water. There's still one more thing we got to do before we're done with this. Okay, just take a breath. Merlin's got plenty of magic to restore our hit points. Okay, so what were we doing? We wanted to go to Galahad. Look at that, pure shield. He's got to equip that, right? Check what it does later. Equip 7. So right now Galahad has got -8 armor class in the middle column there. Pure shield makes it -9. How about that? And speaking of armor class, you know what I never did? I never did fire up King Arthur's mystical coat of arms to improve our armor classes. Doh. Anyway. It does so little for us now, right? We got one guy who's L0, two guys that are -9. Why waste charges? Because these items have charges. It doesn't tell you how many, but your items eventually will go up in smoke because you've used up the charges. So we'll hold off on the mystical coat of armor, mystical coat of arms, because it only slightly improves us. Now for fun, let's look up what the pure shield actually does now that we've committed to wearing it. Pure shield. No special ability, but it's paladin only. 5 points of armor class, the best shield in the game. Not bad. We'll take it. Okay. So calm look at my map. Oh yeah, okay, so go back to the walkthrough. Okay, it says here, you can defeat, this is my walkthrough again, you can defeat him with conventional weapons and spells, but somebody has to have the crystal sword, or he will reappear to block your exit. So we didn't necessarily, apparently we could have killed him without the sword, but that's the only time we did damage is when we used the sword. So I guess you'd be endlessly stuck fighting a golem if you didn't have the crystal sword. So another point in the dungeon where you just would have been screwed if you came here unprepared. Okay. So this is why I'll probably name this episode Crystal Castles, plural, Crystal Castles. Because this episode will span the dungeon you gain the crystal sword. We were just in Harkon's castle. Spans that and the dungeon where you fight the crystal golems. There's continuity, the crystal crossover in those two dungeons. So Crystal Castles will probably be the name of this episode. Okay. Seems to me we're down to the last order of business. And we can escape here with our items and our lives intact. The last thing. Let's see about meeting Kyliran himself, the man who runs the joint. So what I'm going to be doing is seeking a snaky road, says my walkthrough, on the east side of the maze. We are in the southwest. So we just went through a door facing south. We need to go through that south door as well. And on the other side is anti-magic. So if we were to have gotten encountered there, it's weird. I found that throughout, not throughout the game, but more than once in the game, there will be an anti-magic square in a weird random place, and it's not a spot where it auto triggers an encounter. I mean, that's a nice little trap if you think about it. Just put an auto encounter in a spot where you can't use magic. I mean, it's genius. Why am I smarter than Kyliran and everyone else? They're supposed to be wizards. Anyway, so what we have to do now is so now we're in the northwest corner. There's so much exiting one edge of the map and coming up the other side. So what we need to do is we need to head to the west. So we're basically just following this. Better keep track of where I am. Don't just run like a maniac. Anyway, here we go. Just remember what direction I'm facing, right? So now we're east, south. Oh. Might get a taste of our own medicine with wraiths here. Yes. Now my fear is that they drain experience levels. That would really be too bad. Oh, King Arthur shouldn't be in the front anymore. Oh, I should have moved him. Should be in the back. Percival's like, hey, why am I in the back still after all this time? It's stupid. Oh, you know what we need to do? Yeah, I've screwed this up a little bit. Because we're worried as much as anything about these sorcerers ripping us with magic, aren't we? But they don't do a lot individually. Okay, maybe I don't need to panic here. As long as Merlin keeps his magic for restoration. We'll cross our fingers that these wraiths can't hit us and do horrible things to us. And remind me in the comments to move King Arthur out of the front rank. There's a lot of these things too. Sorcerer has created a wolf to get in our way. Doing a lot of groping. These wraiths are groping at us. Perverts. Yeah, among other things, King Arthur needs to get the heck into the back row so that he can start using his anti-magic so that we don't have to get screwed by this magic stuff. We're not out of the woods yet, folks. But barring any heinous encounter, we should be close to done here. Ogre kills a wraith. Thanks, bye. Okay. So what did I say? I think I said I was south. Okay, new order. Thanks for reminding me. Lancelot, Percival, Galahad, Arthur in the back. There we go. So now we're heading to the west. Wrap around here. Facing south. To the west again. Okay, so now we're about to, again, we're going to leave the northwest corner of the map. We're going to emerge out the northeast corner. Okay, so when we get to the end of this corridor, we're officially in the northeast. Okay, so we're at that snaky road. The eastern side of the map, there's this long million-turn thing we got to go down. But I think I'm seeing a secret door on my map. which might make this a lot easier for us. Okay, so we're turning south, right? See, I'm already screwed up. South. And then this is east, all the way over. And then when we get to south, now we're going west. I believe, according to my map, this could be a secret door / fake wall. No. Thought for sure it was. Well, I still got magic for Merlin. Scry sight. So we're facing west. 16 north, 18 east. 16 north. Yeah, according to my map, this should be a secret door to get out of here. Ugh. Should be able to pass through here. I want to believe that we can pass through here. I wonder if there's any chance that phase door would work here, because it would make my life a little easier. I gotta know. Merlin will cast phase door. Didn't work. Okay. We do have to take this. He said 16, 18, right? Yeah. I guess it's a one-way door to get back here, I guess. I don't know. Unfortunately, we do have to take this ridiculously long. Damn it. All right, we just have to do it. Doesn't matter how much I think should be the case. Don't need your conjurer. We just have to snake all the way down through this extremely long corridor. And just hope we don't... We had good luck with Wraith before. Bring him on board. And just hope we don't get shellacked by encounters. That's all I can do. Snaky road indeed. Hopefully this is entertaining for you, the viewer. This is ridiculous. Okay. All right. This door here is a terrifying thing. If you've checked your map. Beyond this door is the stasis chamber. It's another stern warning by the walkthrough. Don't enter this room or you'll be stuck forever. Because there's no teleporting out of here. There's no teleporting anywhere in this dungeon, apparently. So, for the love of whomever you pray to, do not go this way. It says here, take the door that goes west. And unlike that other time where I ignored the warning, this time I'm going to make for damn sure I'm going west. That's north. That's west. I didn't come all this way to be ruined. Okay. So we're going to pass through 2 doors here to my knowledge. 2 doors facing south. And we'll emerge again from the southeast to the northeast. Okay, follow this all the way. Beyond this door, we have to be careful about these chambers we start to enter into because they have those spinorama things again. So we're in the green 3, just for my own keeping track of stuff. Lesser demon. Oh, geez. Well, this is no joke. Oh, we didn't get to run away. Well, these copper dragons are really probably going to ruin us. We're not far from reaching Kylerian, so at least hopefully we can at least see everything. Stop being so pessimistic. You're not dead yet. So the lesser demon will leave for Galahad. Because he has the pure blade, which to exorcise that demon. King Arthur will use the Bard Song, anti-magic, and cross our fingers. Merlin will save his magic for healing us. Morgana doesn't have much. All we can do is hope these copper dragons don't completely annihilate us. 45. My poor Wraith is steamed out of existence. Maybe King Arthur gets his bard song off. Galahad's turned old. Oh, more breathing. Oh, we're not. We're completely ruined. So much for saving Merlin's spell points for healing. See, this game will remind you you're really never safe. Doesn't matter how good things are going. All it takes is one encounter, pack of dragons, breath weapon all over the place, and just the corpses are just going to be all over the place. All we can do is hope that it's relatively smooth sailing from here. If we could just retreat, I'd really be grateful. It's an imbalancing aspect of the game, unfortunately. This pack of dragons thing. You don't think just a one or two? Look at that. You don't think one or two would give us a lot of headache? We need to have a gang of dragons coming up us. Look at that. 52. Game. This doesn't need to be this tough. Yes, I appreciate my life more than ever. Because I'm reminded how swiftly and easily it can be taken away from me. So Galahad uses the holy sword to cut down that creature of the netherworld, lesser demon. You still face more than you should ever have to deal with. Retreat, maybe? Oh, mercifully we got out of there. All right. There's still a chance here that we can at least get all the checkpoints done. So we're past, we advance through this door. And we do not want to head forward, we want to turn left, find a door along that wall. Advance through there. Now we're in orange 3 for my reference on the map. There's a teleporter right next to us to the right, which would screw us. What we have to do is south. Go around that. Good Lord. And then we want to get to the east wall and take that door. Oh, no. As long as they're not dragons. If they're not dragons, there's hope. Okay, shadows aren't too bad. Let me see, how do I want to do this? Lancelot, we want to take that lurker out. We want to at least get rid of the lurker so that we can force those sorcerers into battle. King Arthur will bard song 6, and we'll just hope these well we're all about hope right now. Let's just say there's a lot to hope for here in terms of what doesn't happen to us. As long as we can somehow get out of here and escape with the silver item, the silver triangle. As long as we can keep the silver triangle, we're not screwed. Anyway. We can afford to have some party members die. As upsetting as that is to think about. Kind of feel like with the exception of, what was it, magicians, I think, were roasting us for big damage and magic. Other than the magicians, the dragons are the only things that are really that terrifying. In terms of if we see them, it's time to run like hell. If we can. Boy. Whoop. What happened? Okay. I don't know what's happening here. No. Something's glitched. Uh-oh. Don't know what has happened. Things have frozen up on me. In any case, it would be nice to have seen Kyliran, but it looks like we're not going to be able to because of some sort of glitch, some sort of technical difficulty. I don't know how to fix this. So what I might just do is just tell you what happens with Kyliran. Okay. More deep breaths. Crisis averted. My emulator program locked up on me, seized up, stuck, couldn't do anything. I thought I was going to be screwed out of finishing this dungeon level on account of technical difficulties. Thankfully, my brother is pretty tech savvy, Ryan, computer savvy, all that stuff. And he drew my attention to that this emulator actually does have a save state function in it. I thought it did not. I'm used to attaching disk images, saving states. This emulator has what's called save snapshot, which I just imagined it meant like taking stills, like you take a photo of your screen. I thought there was no save state. So thankfully he was around to point out that snapshot is actually a save state. Who knew? You might say, but apparently my brother Ryan knew, so that's cool. Because we're so close to finishing this and just one small thing left to do if I could just get there. So my lack of knowledge almost screwed us. Someone else's knowledge saved us. Okay. Where we left it off. So long story short, saved the state, reloaded the whole thing. And thankfully, it didn't save it in a state of lockup. It just saved it in a functioning state. So, woo! Okay, my recollection was I was about to advance through that door there, and there should be a teleporter at the end of that corridor in beyond. So, let's just do it. Okay, advance. Teleported. Okay. We are in the home stretch now, as they say. We're in another snaky corridor. We just have to follow this corridor all the way to the end. Kick down the door. And as they said in The Princess Bride, there will be joy. Hopefully we can dodge any dragon encounters. Oh. Hold on. More technical. I must have had the wrong thing attached. I don't know what happened. I guess I had nothing attached to my emulator just now. I just loaded the save state, nothing attached, and so when it wanted me to do something, I couldn't. Okay, we'll get through this. I trust. We have found a wandering ice giant. Offers to join. Heck yeah. Join up, guy. Carrying on. Not enough of fighting against giants. Maybe this giant can actually help us. Many body snatchers, whatever the heck that is. Mercifully, we were able to run away. Oh my goodness, I think we made it. I think I encountered body snatchers before, and they're not a joke. That could have been easily total party wipe. I didn't even want to look at what was on. It's another one of those encounters. I didn't want to even see what's on there. I saw enough to know that I didn't want to fight. Okay. The stress should be over. It really should be. It should be. I'm gonna believe this. Beyond this door should be Kylerian, the master of this dungeon. Hi, guy. You have no idea what I've gone through to meet you, sir. Hopefully you're not going to just wipe me out because I've had a long day. Kylerian. Greetings. Oh, perseverant ones. Buddy, you don't even know. You don't even know. Maybe you do. You're very wise. You're old and wise. The good wizard of Skara Brae is Kylerian. So the walkthrough did tell me that. Turns out all this time Kylerian has been a friendly wizard. So what was he up to, making this so hard to get here? Was he testing whether we were worthy to go on to face the Dark Lord? Put away your weapons, for I am your ally, not an enemy. Believe me, guy, we don't want to do any more fighting. We want to go the heck home, store our silver triangle, sleep it off. You have passed my tests, and now can continue on your true quest, the source of evil in Skara Brae. The Dark One, my nemesis. Oh, okay. So you're no friend of his. Ooh. Almost had another technical difficulty. Good heavens. So in the far southwest of town, 5-level death trap. It can only be entered by use of an onyx key. Well, that's great. Do you got one? Because I haven't seen any. Good luck, and remember, seeing is not always believing. Well, I did just get into illusion with my magic users. Galahad got a key. Okay. Take a look at it. Onyx key. Fantastic. We're not out of the woods yet. Can you imagine if we got encountered right there in that one spot? It's possible, unless it's the game programmed it out. So if we advance through this door, there should be a teleporter. And then we can do our final reflections. Teleport. So if this looks familiar, we should be back at the four-way intersection we started at. So we should be able to get the heck out of here. There are stairs going down. Do you wish to take them? More than you know. Ugh. Back in the lobby. So yeah, turns out Kylerian was a friendly wizard, and by going in that teleporter, we just went back to the stairs. Now we're out. Yeah, my walkthrough says important item, onyx key, which I believe this is supposed to unlock the gate into the Dark Lord's tower. the final dungeon. We can just walk through the front door now because we have this. So don't have to leave town or anything. We can just go to the southwest. But yeah, apparently I don't strictly need this key. I just really wanted to get here and do this final encounter just for completion. Don't strictly need it because if you recall from the first dungeon a couple episodes ago, apparently there's stairs on level 4 of the wine cellar, which also gets you there. I guess it's just a matter of what would you rather screw around with? Walking all the way through town to get to the tower and then just walk in the front door? Or would you want to go into the wine cellar, probably teleport straight down to level 4, take the stairs up? I don't know. Not sure which is more laborious. Both require a bit of a screw around. So pick your poison as to how you want to go in. One way or another, I should be able to access the final dungeon with Silver Triangle in tow, because I'll be able to save that item. We'll find out what the final dungeon is like in the next and final episode of Bard's Tale. It will be the Dark Lord's Tower.